Opioid overdose treatments like naloxone or Narcan have become an essential tool for emergency responders across Massachusetts. The goal, of course, is to reverse the effects of overdoses fast. But it's not just humans who are in danger. As Tina Martin shows us, those at the highest risk of encountering drugs on the job are often of the four-legged variety.
Quincy Police K-9 officer Scott Doherty and his partner Mace go through a practice explosive search.
Mace will be 5 in October, and I've had him for 4 years.
They work the Boston Marathon and the 4th of July celebration on the Esplanade every year.
We do everything from large venues and events for explosives detection sweeps. As part of that, he also detects guns.
Mace, like the department's other K-9 officers, Lexi and Ronan, uses his nose to find suspects, missing people, and guns. But he may also encounter opioids, like heroin or carfentanil, which can be lethal.
With drugs, typically comes guns. So Mace may very well be involved in a search warrant or any kind of search for a gun as a result of a fellow drug investigation or a drug search.
To protect his partner, Officer Doherty carries Narcan.
So I keep both doses here.
We follow the trends in the country. There have been a lot of canines exposed to fentanyl and carfentanil, so we just want to stay up on the protection of the dogs. Yes.
Lieutenant Bob Gillen runs the K-9 unit of 12 officers and their dogs. A year ago, he brought in the staff at New England Animal Medical Center to do Narcan trainings.
3, 2, 1. Injection complete.
Diane Whitaker is one of the veterinary technicians.
There's the auto-injector, which I just demonstrated on Mace. We do probably 3 classes, sometimes 4 classes a year for specific departments.
Jessica McKay DeSent, a veterinarian, says just like humans, it's important to know the signs.
When an animal's been exposed to an opioid, some signs that you're going to notice would be not responding to commands, staring into space.
And even if a handler is not sure, it's better to act.
Narcan is relatively harmless. It doesn't have very many adverse effects. So if they get an unnecessary Narcan injection, they're not going to respond to it in a bad way.
In Quincy, first responders have used Narcan more than 700 times on humans, but they haven't had to use it on canines.
All right, you want this off, buddy?
Officer Scott Doherty says he's ready to protect his partner.
If Mace were to come in contact with an opiate, fentanyl, heroin, carfentanil, he would need my help, and I would need to recognize the signs in him.
Tina Martin joins me now. Hey there, Tina.
Hey there.
I hate to be crass because I know how many dog lovers there are out there, but how much does the department spend on Narcan to protect these dogs? What are we talking about?
So it's more than $6,000 because Quincy police officers carry both the injector and the nasal inhaler.
And I know that they have the skill, they can inject this or apply this to their own partners, and I guess they consider these dogs to be their non-human partners. Could they spot and treat somebody else's pet which was exposed to an opioid?
Absolutely, absolutely. They can treat a domestic animal who's been exposed to an opioid. Absolutely.
And do they need permission or something in that circumstance? You know,
no, they usually don't.
And for those who are critical of the spending, and I know people love animals, and obviously these are performing a huge public service, but for those who are critical of the expenditure you mentioned a minute ago, there's huge investment, I assume, to train these dogs to be able to do the incredible work they do. What kind of money are we talking about in an individual dog, for
Huge
example?
money. $6,000 to $10,000 for the dog, untrained.
To buy the dog.
To buy the dog, untrained. And then upwards of $50,000 once they're fully trained over the course of their service to the police department.
And they do incredible work, by the way. I love the relationship between the dogs, and I don't know if they're their masters, their partners, whatever they are.
Yes.
Tina, thanks for a great story. Really
You bet.
Really appreciate it.